Good evening, I'm Devin Feely. Your stories tonight on the Primetime Edition.
They both have a history of very large earthquakes.
Devastation in Southeast Asia after a massive earthquake. The similarities between that fault and the San Andreas.
The last 6 months, we've been historically slow. It's scary.
A plan to boost shipbuilding, the effort to bring back a once booming industry.
A U.S. delegation travels to Greenland as President Trump pushes for a U.S. takeover of the territory. I'm Erica Brown at the White House with more on the visit and the president's talk with the Canadian Prime Minister as new tariffs loom.
Still a few lingering showers across the Bay Area today, but those moved off to the east for a pretty sunset, even as clouds tried to fill back in over the Bay Area. Taking a look ahead to the weekend forecast. The First Alert Weather.
And we go to a bakery in San Jose that focuses on purpose for people with developmental disabilities. See one mother's devotion to that idea.
They have someone there who's teaching them all the time, so it's it means it's crowded back here.
From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Primetime Edition on KPIX Plus.
Good evening, I'm Devin Feely. These are tonight's primetime headlines. VTA buses are back on the road for the first time in nearly 3 weeks. Drivers returned to work after a judge ruled against those striking workers. He ruled that their contract, which was still binding, had a no-strike clause. Light rail service is scheduled to return on Monday. The family members and victims and criminal justice reform activists gathered today to protest the early release of former Danville police officer Andrew Hall. He served just 3 years of his 6-year sentence for shooting and killing 33-year-old Latimer Arboleda back in November of 2018. Neither correction officials, law enforcement, or prosecutors have said what changed to allow him to be released after just 3. California snowpack looking pretty good, sitting at 90% of average for this time of year. The California Department of Water Resources, they just wrapped up their 4th snow survey at the Phillips Station today. They recorded 39.5 inches of snow depth. Now, this comes after several storms in February and March helped offset an excessively dry January. Taking a live look outside at the Bay Bridge, let's get a check of our First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagan.
Devin, the Sierra have added up a few more inches of snow over the past couple of days. Well, we've seen some scattered showers around the Bay Area. Here's the radar replay over the past 12 hours. And those showers were, as expected, most numerous this morning and early this afternoon. But there was one more band of broken showers that made its way into the peninsula and then kind of fell apart this evening. That's the last of the activity for this particular system. So let's add up how much rain we actually did receive. The amounts overall were pretty modest. Kenfield, always one of the spots that manages to maximize every drop of rainfall. And you picked up almost 1 inch worth of those raindrops over the past 48 hours. About 1/3 of an inch of rain for Santa Rosa, otherwise less than 1/4 inch, and in fact less than 1/10 of an inch of rain for downtown San Francisco. Still some clouds overhead tonight, but as those break up a bit, what little warmth we